can you discern between evil and good?
No, no, no! Damn it! Fuck!
Welcome back to The Evil Within. This is the final chapter of our Kidman story, chapter 4. The second chapter, the second half of the Consequence DLC. We're running on survival mode, so that you can see everything. Apparently the challenge mode is called Darkness, or at least translates to the word Darkness.
Be kept here.
What's that? Maybe I can burn through it.
So we thought it might be good to run one standard run on survival mode so that you could actually see the whole game. Experience the whole storyline. That big crashing sound at the beginning of the video was the bus crashing. If you'll remember at the end of chapter 3, Kidman ran out, saw Joseph and Sebastian on the bus, jumped on the bus and took off, and the giant tick chased him. We didn't really see the tick chasing him. We just cut to the part where Ruvik was throwing him into a building, throwing the whole bus into the building. So we're kind of in lockstep now between Kidman and Sebastian. Sebastian would be running through chapter 13, going through the hotel, and Kidman is now in her chapter 4, chasing after Leslie in the hotel.
Risk it. Hold on. I think I see another way down. I'll meet you on a lower level.
That's the elevator that crashed. If you remember when Sebastian shot a cable and then climbed across, and then it dropped, and Joseph didn't get to go across the... So they're up above us in the hotel somewhere. We're down lower, where the elevator crashed down to. So presumably, I guess, close to the bottom floor. Though it could have crashed into something before the bottom floor.
After surviving the fire incident and subsequent abuse from his parents, it's a miracle Ruben can function at all. His work comes from a place that isn't motivated by fear or money or social standing. His motives are more pure. I would say that he is obsessed with the chance to relive and remold reality so he can be with her again. His scarring is heavy, both physically and emotionally, but he longs for his lost sister. His love for her borders almost on an incestuous level, but as long as it provides motivation, so be it.
So something that, as I was editing these together, I started to notice is that you don't get these recordings, you don't get these audio tapes in order. I mean, that was recording number 31. There's a whole bunch of entries, hundreds of entries later that we've heard. I mean, we haven't heard hundreds of them, but the numbers have been in the hundreds. So it might be something worthwhile of maybe going back and just listening to each of the conversations in the chronological order. Might be able to pull some tidbit out of it that we've missed along the way. I think we were all clear on how, from watching the main game, from playing through the main game, how Ruvik, he seemed like kind of just an ordinary, 9-year-old boy or something like that when Arson's villagers burned the barn that he and his sister Laura were in. He came out disfigured and Laura didn't come out. And that just absolutely destroyed him. On top of that, then, the disfigurement from the burning and everything, his father locked him away in a basement and told his mother he was dead. And so he, without any maternal support and basically shut away by his father, he went nuts down there trying to dissecting animals and trying to figure out how brains work and reality works.
He's trying to take control of him. Maybe I can stop him.
And so he basically went nuts down the basement. He wound up killing his father and his mother, and then killed their lawyer. I think there was a note that the lawyer was missing or dead, found dead. and then the whole estate burned down. But during that time, Jimenez was basically supporting his research by sending him patients from the hospital that Ruvik would do all sorts of horrendous things to, basically torture while they were alive and see how their brain, poking different parts of their brain would respond. I think I thought I needed an axe, but apparently I brought one with me, so I couldn't pick that up. Unfortunately, that got me seen. Then later we saw that Jimenez brought Ruvik to Mobius to work in labs there. Kidman has seen the labs at Mobius that Ruben was working in. And she's seen interactions between the administrator and Ruben. Well, Ruvik, he looked like Ruvik at that time, but we know from the main game again that we have seen that Mobius took Ruben because he locked the STEM system to himself, to where it would only work with him. And so, little did he know that what that led them to do was not make him essential, but instead made it where they just dissected him, took his brain out, and used that as the CPU for the stem cells, for the STEM system. And yet, seen the same place, same time again. That's okay. I'll run hide again. No, but he's right here this time. So what's going to happen? Thanks. Okay. Run. Your stamina, or lack thereof. And then what started happening as Jimenez was continuing to feed patients into the STEM system, they started to come out dead because Ruvik was taking them over. What Kidman found in the first DLC at the end of the assignment, she had put together a warning scrap of paper that was basically written by Ruvik. Ruvik is saying that as more people are sent into that didn't work out either. As more people are sent into the STEM, he takes them over and he gains more and more power by doing that. There was discussion about sending somebody in that wasn't from the mental hospital. And now we have Kidman, Sebastian, Joseph, Officer Conley, Jimenez. We know all of those and Leslie are connected to a STEM somewhere. At least as Sebastian, those are the people that we saw connected to in bathtubs near the end of the main game. Kidman knew that she was going to go into the STEM, has recently found out that she was told right from the beginning that Sebastian and Joseph were expendable, and that her primary objective was to get Leslie and bring them out. What she's found is that Ruvik wants Leslie out as well, because he plans to come out inside of Leslie, like take over Leslie, come out of the STEM, back into the real world, and make those that did these horrific things to him, dissected him, pay for their crimes.
Holy shit. Maybe
It's
I
not
can
clear
stop Ruvik then.
how exactly Ruben is working with, how Ruvik is dealing with Sebastian and Kidman and Joseph. Certainly Officer Conley turned into a zombie right away. We've seen Joseph turn a couple of times. We saw Sebastian turn at least once. It seems to be hinting that that's a way of Ruvik taking them over, gaining them in some way, gaining power from them. It's not 100% clear. Kidman herself was inoculated with some sort of injection before she was sent on this mission, and has some immunity to it. She never seems to hear the same thing. She doesn't seem to have the same propensity to be taken over that the other two have had, and certainly Conley had. Jimenez didn't seem to be all that susceptible to it either, but we saw Jimenez get killed by one of the creatures in here. We've seen Kidman kill Joseph in a couple of different ways. In the main game, she shoots him in the playground, which would have been prior to this in the stories. In her playthrough, she had to confront him physically, one-on-one. She wound up killing him, hitting him 3 times with an axe. That was traumatic for her, but then after that, she saw Joseph on the bus. So it's still all confusing as to whether Joseph's actually dead or whether anybody... Previously, we've been assuming that if you died in here, you died, period. So whatever this virtual reality is, if you die in here, you don't come out. And that seemed to be everything that they were hinting about, even the mental patients, that they're coming out, they're dying as they come out of the stim. Everybody except for Leslie. So Kidman knows that Ruvik wants Leslie out as well. And so now she's torn between her mission was to get Leslie and bring him out and provide him to Mobius. But now she knows that Ruvik would come out in that same process. And so a couple of times she's tried to kill Leslie. In the main game, that's when Joseph interfered, got between her and Leslie, and got shot. In her DLC playthrough, the administrator has interfered, and she's had to deal with that, and Leslie has gotten away. It's not clear exactly what her goal is. If she kills Leslie, how is she going to get out? But maybe she's thinking that's an okay thing, but she's basically would be sacrificing everybody else too, as far as we can tell.
Leslie! Leslie, where are you?
You don't want to miss that safe back there. It's easy to miss. If you jump down, obviously you can't get back to it. We're tracking three different achievements on the playthrough. We already have the achievements, but we're tracking the things as we find them. So you need to find 8 safes, 8 tapes from Dr. Jimenez, and 3 personnel records of Kidman. In the first 2 episodes of the Consequence, I got those counts wrong. Somehow I just briefly glancing through, I counted a tape of Jimenez as a tape as a personnel record.
The Victoriano estate yesterday. It's a vestige, a mere husk of what was bound to be such a home of promise. Mobius reaped nearly everything of value when we took on the research ourselves, but Rubin's notes indicate he was involved in something else. There were plans for another STEM prototype. Data about using receptors to transmit the brain function wirelessly to unaware users. It's borderline parapsychology, but these schematics and the scientific backup provided seems sound. What was he planning to do with such a thing? There's only one way to find out for certain, but I must continue these experiments in private, away from their prying eyes. I will not let them know, lest they take this from me as well.
And of course, we know that they know that he made a wireless version of the STEM project. And that sound that the Officer Conley, Sebastian, Joseph, and Kidman all heard in the patrol car at the very beginning, in the very first cutscene of the very first scene of the main game, that's when they were pulled into the STEM. So there's still a lot to be answered. We don't know. We know that Mobius wants to control the world, basically. They think they're doing it for the better good. How the right person in control of such a prototype, such a machine would be able to influence the world and make it a better place. All right. We know that Ruvik wants out, and that he's the only one on a conscious level contributing to this world. Everybody else is contributing pieces and parts through their subconscious. And you see that in kind of memories. Like we saw Kidman go through the village that she grew up in. Sebastian and Joseph go through different places that they remember. Sometimes you get places that seem kind of really consistent, like the police station. Now I'm trying to remember if we've been to the police station yet or not. Between playing and editing and doing the voiceovers, I get confused as to where we are. Okay, so that's kind of at the beginning of each chapter. I try to give a kind of summary of what I think is going on in the game. I don't think I'm missing a whole lot. Seeing the game now 3 or 4 times through the main thing. This was our second playthrough through the DLCs. But I also, doing the voiceovers, I watched the videos themselves as they're playing intently, so it feels like I'm beginning to have a better picture of what I think is going on than maybe I did through the first playthrough. I think playing this game through once you'd wind up very confused. There are a couple of keys in that room there. When you throw that to distract it, you need to make sure that you stay crouched. If you stand up, they will come to you instead of going to where the bottle went. The other thing to realize is that cadaver there, where you threw it to distract him, he comes through here, and you need to wait for him to go back through. If you try to get in that and he's coming the other way, he moves too fast, and he'll catch you in the hall there and blow up. Now we moved that cart when we first came in, and we pushed the cart out of the way right there where we just saw that cadaver on the right go through. So this is an area that we haven't been able to get into, but we don't really know his pattern in it. We don't know if he comes in and out or if he... So I was a little hesitant. Okay, we got through that clearly enough. There's still another one back here. Now I was unsure if using the keycard would make a sound or the door opening would make a sound, so I decided I would throw a bottle over there, get them to head that way, and use the keycard. As it turns out, I don't know that they would have been attracted by the sound, but there is a beep there in the clicks of the door opening, so it's possible. Didn't cost me anything. A bottle. As far as I can tell, survivor horror have there are two basic approaches to it. There's this kind of more stealthy approach to it, where you cannot get into any confrontations with anything. Occasionally, you'll have a weapon that will let you get through something. And then there's the more action-packed. Here's Sebastian. If you remember, this is when Sebastian went into a meat locker where there was an executioner. He saw Joseph get into a dumbwaiter and get away from, and then he had to fight the executioner, and then the same dumbwaiter opened for him, and then he got down to the bottom and he couldn't get out. Well, that achievement, it's kind of funny because it's a real hero, and it's Kidman saving Sebastian. And all it is pushing a button. Well, after saving Sebastian, that's the end of our video. We're going to see you in the next episode tomorrow. Thanks for watching.
More of them.